Hello, everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. As part of a quantum edition. This audio podcast as part of a Labostix sequence. This audio podcast as part of a vortex gauntlet, and this audio podcast as part of the abstracts, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Labostix production. In this audio podcast today, I look at sort of look at an abstract and part of works from 2015, part of sort of works from 2015, and looking at sort of a clinical correlation sort of sort of works in regard to hematuria and testing to improve patient outcomes. And so the abstracts, part of the abstracts, is as follows. So the source and the source or the basis and reason for hematuria is often confused due to a lack of clarity over description, analysis, and patient referral criteria. A thorough hematuria review had been carried out, and as a result from the renal association, the RA, and the British Association of Urological Surgeons, the BAUS, formed a joint working effort to agree on guidelines to update and the training of healthcare professionals providing care for recipients presenting with hematuria. Urinary screening for hematuria should only be performed for recognizable medical reasons, as there is currently no evidence or little evidence to support opportunistic point of care testing or POCT for the general population. The nephrological aspects of analysis and control have been covered by the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, and where chronic kidney disease (CKD) guidelines, which replaced the existing which had replaced the existing UK Royal College of Physicians CKD chronic kidney disease framework. So this works with this clinical correlation sort of abstract works sought to provide a general overview of hematuria, offering background information and definitions or basis on the context of chronic kidney chronic kidney disease or CKD, and from a primary care perspective, it is perhaps also important that scientists or laboratory specialists, for example, also appreciate the general practice or GP sort of curriculum in regard to hematuria. Hematuria, also additionally to add as part of this audio podcast, to additionally add that hematuria can be broadly classified as sort of a nephrological or urological in origin. Any glomerular disease or condition may result in microscopic hematuria. Active glomerular nephritis and acute interstitial nephritis are associated with large numbers of usually dysmorphic red blood cells or RBCs and red blood cell or RBC casts. Other reasons for hematuria include number one, where there's non-visible hematuria or SNVH, which is connected to the lower urinary tract, and these can include reluctance to voiding frequency, and voiding desperation or painful painful voiding or dysuria, and secondly, asymptomatic non-visible hematuria, or ANVH, which is an incidental finding in the absence of lower or upper tract symptoms. Microscopic hematuria may also be detected in the absence of any underlying pathology, after sort of strenuous activity or activities. That draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast as part of a quantum edition. This audio podcast as part of a Labostix sequence. This audio podcast as part of a vortex gauntlet. This audio podcast as part of the abstracts, and this audio podcast as part of a storm Labostix production.